Well, I like both David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. There's two different styles. What's up, all? Steve Weiner from GetRubix.com. Last time we went through removing the old components from Intune Tenant A. Today we're gonna take a look at what's next. We're gonna hope to cover two topics: leaving the source tenant finally, and setting up our post-migration tasks. Who doesn't like jump? Okay, so after completing step 6, we're on to step 7, and it's time to write the scripts to leave tenant A, right? And this will remove the device from Azure AD enrollment, ultimately removing it from Intune and the source tenant. So this is actually pretty simple piece, right? So we're gonna start by saying write host, leaving the we can give the name of the tenant, right? Because we have that defined up top due to our app registration. So leaving the getrubixdev.com Azure AD and Intune environment. Now what we're going to do is pretty simple here. We're going to start process, and we're just going to call it dsreg leave. That'll boot it out of Azure AD. Because this is running from a script delivered by Intune, right? We're running in a context where we have to specifically call the sysnative path in order for it to find dsreg command. So this will be C Windows sysnative dsreg command.exe, and our argument list is just going to be leave. And that'll do it. And at that point, that was all we were doing there. But one of the issues was coming up. The more migrations we did, we would find situations where folks would be hybrid domain joined to AD. So we had to account for that, right? So the device, otherwise the device would consider itself domain joined. So the first thing we have to do is figure out if the device is domain joined or not, right? So to do this, the easiest way, let me head over to our lab machine, is to just do a dsreg command status. Dsreg command status. Okay, so here you go. Azure AD join, yes. Domain join, no. So we need that value. So how are we going to get that value? Well, let's see if we can strip that out here. So first, we got to grab everything that outputs from dsreg command status. So we're just going to say dsreg status. That'll be our variable. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the command inside of the parentheses, because we're going to pull a string out of it. Status, we're going to pipe that to select string domain joined. Is that what it's called? Yeah, domain joined is the one we want. Domain joined. And that should be it. So let's run that. Let's call the dsreg status. Okay, we got it, but the problem is this is part of a larger piece, so that really isn't the value we want, so we have to strip that out. So let's convert it to a string. So we'll call it dsreg string equals, actually let's do this up here. Dsreg string equals dsreg status to string. And let's see what that looks like. So now if we call that, we got it. Great. So it is a string value now, but we have to actually split the things around it and get the value. So in order to do that, now what we're going to do is we're going to call domain join. We're going to call that variable, and we're basically going to take the string and we are going to split it. We're going to split it at the colon. Let's see here. marks, and we're going to trim it down. So if I do that, oh, what did I do there? Domain join. That's the old English spelling of domain join. We don't want that. Okay, so let's domain join. Oh, we got a value that's no, or it would be yes, right? So we can use that to do what we want to do. So what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and let's write some notes here. So leave let's see, unjoin Azure AD, check for domain join, and leave, and remove computer. We'll say that's a better way to look at that. So let's see here, let's write host. We'll say checking if PC is domain join dot. We'll add stuff here. Okay, same thing. So dsreg status equals our dsreg command status, piping out to select string domain joined. There we go. dsreg string equals dsreg status to string, to string. And now we're going to strip that out. So we're going to call that domain join. Domain join equals dsreg string split and then trim. Perfect. So now what we got to do is evaluate that if it's domain join or not. So if domain join is equal to yes, that's what it would be, we got to do some stuff now. So we're going to write the host that we found it, right? Hosts, computer, and we could do the computer name here. Environment, computer name is domain joined. Attempting to remove. Okay. So we're going to do a try catch for this because this way it'll be a little neater if we hit an error. So we're going to try catch. Oh, that's what's great about Visual Studio Code. So we're going to try to just remove the computer, and that should do it. If you are domain joined and you do this, the problem is going to be it's going to sit in the old local AD. I can't imagine a world where that's a problem. If it is and you got to clean it up, you got to do it manually later, but we're moving tenants, so I don't think that matters. Right, hosts, removed computer name, and then we could put from, assuming your tenant names are the same. There we go. Now the catch here will be right hosts could not remove computer from tenants. Get rid of this. Okay. Now that takes care if it is domain joined, but we also have to deal with the else. So else, if it's not domain joined, we just write right host computer name is not domain joined. Capital. There we go. And because of everything going on here, we're making such a big step, right? So let's just go back. We're unjoining from Azure AD, and then we're checking if we need to do a domain join remove. So I'm just gonna do one of Jesse's tricks. If you don't read the blog, you know Jesse's like my main technical architect. He's the brains, I'm just the pretty face. So he does this start sleep seconds 5. Anytime you got a problem in PowerShell, pull sleep in there, give PowerShell a little rest, right? And let's go grab our line break, because that is the end of step 7. Okay, now we're going to be talking about setting up our post-migration tasks. We're going to be talking about these in more detail in the future, because each task does something different, right? So if we were to look at the actual repo, right, of what we have going on, let me pull up that repo real quick, right? So you can see everything we do has a task and a script. So for example, when we register the new device, when we register in our new tenant for autopilot, we have to call that with a task that runs a script, right? So the whole idea is that we're setting all these tasks up for when the user logs in with their new credentials, and then they will all get kicked off in a certain sequence. So like I said, we're going to break those down, but the first thing we have to do is understand how to set them all, right? So if you remember in the very beginning of the start migrate, let's go to that, the start migrate PS1, when we first looked at this, we had a section up here where we unpacked everything, right? So our Intune app package for the migrate is going to contain a bunch of these files, and you can see they're all here, the XMLs and the PS1s. So what we did is we went through and we copied them all to a local path we made in C program data Intune migration. So we're going to assume that they're there, right? So if I go to my demo machine, let me go to that location, program data, Intune migration, I'm going to find everything I need right there. And of course you can see the XMLs and their accompanying PS1s. So we could set individual tasks and call those, but the cool thing is we kind of don't have to, because we have a very common theme. They are all the same name as the task. So basically, let's think about what we want to do, because this is we really improved the efficiency of this part. If the file ends in XML, we want to make a task with the name of that file, and we want the XML file to be the task we import. So we're really just going to loop through everything. So we're going to say for each file in package files. Now, what are package files? Well, if you remember, the package files were defined early on in the script. Let me see if I can call them. So the package files are the list of everything in there. So we already have that list, okay? And our resource path should be defined. Let me just see if it is. It is defined. So these variables hung over from last time. So if I were to say for each file in package files, what we want to do is we want to find the ones that have an XML in there. File match, and we can really just put the XML extension on that. So if the file ends in .xml, we're gonna make the name be the file, but we're gonna split it at the extension, and we're gonna take the first part. Okay, let's go ahead and write that out, right? So write host found here. We'll make task name using file. That should be resource path file. Let's run that. Oh. Yep. Left the dollar off. It's not a variable. Let's clear that out. Try it again. So, writing, this is great because we're not actually setting anything, but you can see what we're doing here. We will make the task name. We got the task name using the full path of the task. So this is pretty cool, right? So if we were to go ahead and set these, let's go back here and add this to our script now, because all we have to do is iterate through those names and we're gonna set each task. So let's one more time here. So for each file in package files, we're gonna say if file, gotta have that $sign, if the file matches .xml, not comma XML. But why don't we write a host here so we can see which section we're doing. Write host, setting host migration tasks. Okay, so if the file matches XML, the name will be file split. And again, we're gonna split the extension and take the first half. And then we're gonna schedule a task. Schedule tasks. Create, it's pretty simple. Task name, well, we have the name. And XML, well, we know the XML because we got the path. Resource, resource path, oh, no, what are you doing? Do it to me. That should just be resource path. Did I spell that wrong? Where's the resource path? Oh, let's go back up and look. Oh, local path. Sorry. Local path. Local path. Just ignore me. It's all in the GitHub for a reason. Local path. That should just be file. And we'll force the task. And then we will write it out that we made it. Created task. And that'll basically grab all the XMLs for us and set all those tasks the way we want. And the tasks are already populated with their appropriate PowerShell scripts. That was a quick one. We're in the end game now, I promise. Almost there. We already booted the device, so we have to join the new tenant. We have to delete the objects from the old tenant, and then we're off to the post-migration activities. Oh, you don't even know who Van Halen is, do you? 1,